Hello kids, thank you for joining us for Kids World Story Time. Little kids are precious to God, and you're precious to us at Greater Imani Church, the Cathedral of Faith. When you can't come to our church, we'll bring our church to you. Kids World Story Time will be here every night at 8 o'clock p.m., right around your bedtime, from March 30th to April 10th. We welcome the children of Greater Imani and kids all over the world to enjoy nightly Bible stories with us. I'm Evangelist Marissa, and tonight's story is about David and Goliath. 1 Samuel 17. Saul had been king, but he kept disobeying God. So God asked Samuel to find a new king. God said to Samuel, "Go to Bethlehem, and there is a man named Jesse with 8 sons. One of them will be the next king." When Samuel first met the sons, he automatically thought that the oldest son, named Eliab, would be the king that God had chosen. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look at the way he looks or how big he is. Eliab is not the one I have chosen. The way he looks doesn't matter to me. I look at the heart." Jesse brought more of his sons to meet Samuel, but God didn't choose either of them. Samuel asked Jesse, "Have I met all of your sons?" Jesse replied, "I have one son left named David, and he's the youngest. And he's out looking after the sheep. I will bring him here to meet you." As soon as Samuel saw David, the Lord spoke to him and said, "He is the one." So Samuel anointed him with oil, which was a special way of promising him that he would be the next king. And from that day on, the power of the Lord was with David. David continued to take care of his father's sheep in the fields. When he didn't have much to do in the field, he played instruments and wrote songs and poems that you can find in the book of Psalms in your Bible. Meanwhile, Saul was still king, and he ruled people called Israelites. David and his family were Israelites too. The Israelites weren't getting along with the people named the Philistines. The problem with the Philistines was that they had many giants living in their land. One of the strongest and biggest giants was named Goliath. He was over 9 feet tall, which is taller than any person recorded in the Genesis Book of World Records. He wouldn't have had to bend way down to get through a regular door. He was so tall. Goliath was covered with armor to protect him, and he carried a big spear. Every morning and every evening for 40 days, he shouted to the Israelites in his big, deep voice, "Hey, you guys, I dare you to find one man to fight with me. If he can beat me, I will become your servants. But if I win, you all will become our servants." When Saul and all his men heard this, they were very afraid. 3 of these men were David's 3 oldest brothers. They were the only ones in David's family that could go fight because they were old enough. Now, David's father, Jesse, heard about the giant and was worried for his sons. He called David out of the fields and asked him to take some food to his brothers and report back how they were doing. So David set off to visit his brothers. As he approached them, he heard Goliath shouting his challenge like he did every morning. "Isn't someone going to stand up to this man?" David asked the men in the army, "Then I will fight this giant Philistine." One of the men overheard this and ran to Saul and told him what David had said. Saul approached David and said, "You can't fight Goliath. You're only a boy, and he has been fighting for many years. But David said to Saul, I have had to fight lions and bears to protect my father's sheep. God helped me and kept me safe then, and he will keep me safe even now. It was too bad that Saul, the king, wasn't trusting in God to help him. He didn't know what to do to beat Goliath. Then this young boy named David came, and he knew in one day exactly what to do and trusted that God would help him. That's why God loved David's heart and wanted him to be king. So Saul dressed David in heavy armor to protect him from Goliath, but David took it off. It was so heavy he could barely walk, and he knew that God would keep him from any harm. Instead, David went to a stream nearby and found 5 smooth stones. He put them in a pouch around his waist, and with his sling, he went to Goliath. As David approached Goliath, Goliath looked at David and thought, it has to be a joke. Goliath thought that he could easily beat David, and it was funny that Saul would send such a small boy to fight him. But David said to Goliath without an ounce of fear, you fight with the sword, and I come with God on my side. And today, everyone will know that there is one true God in this land. Goliath didn't care what David said, and he moved closer to attack him. David ran quickly to meet him. Reaching into his pouch, he pulled out a stone, put it into his slingshot, and shot at Goliath. The stone had hit him right between the eyes, and suddenly Goliath started to lose his balance. He fell with a loud thud right on his face. David had done it. He beat the giant Philistine. When the rest of the Philistines saw this, they ran away, and David became a hero to all the people in Israel. So little ones, if you trust God, you can become heroes too. Thank you so much for listening to tonight's bedtime story. Again, I am Evangelist Marissa Martin, and I'm wishing you a wonderful night. Sleep tight and see you tomorrow.